Hello, hello, hello. This is Irina Strunina. This is our podcast, Diabetically Speaking with SmartMove360. It's Thursday, 4 p.m. We are going live. And here we are talking about everything about diabetes. Let's go. We are. I am back. My video came back and I apologize. This is live stream. So here we go. Let me bring. I am back. Let me bring my guest here, and hopefully we will be able to continue our event without any more interruptions. So, Eric, welcome to SmartMove360's podcast, Diabetically Speaking with SmartMove360. I would like to invite you to introduce yourself to our group while I am sharing it around the globe. Okay? So
All
please
right.
tell us about you, why we agreed with you that you will be a great guest today to talk about diabetes, diabetically speaking.
Well, thanks for having me. I am Eric Lopkin, and I am an internationally best-selling author and performance coach. And I work with something called human-centered achievement. And this is a process that helps people achieve more. We originally started using this for business, but we found that it gets fantastic results for people trying to control their health. And I was diagnosed with diabetes a little under a year ago. And within 3 months, I was able to get my blood sugar and A1C levels within normal range. And I've kept it there ever since using this process.
Absolutely. So you telling that when you got diagnosed, being a business coach and doing what you are doing, you started applying the same principles to your management of your diagnosis and was able to put everything at bay and control it this way and have no problems with that.
Yes. The process, as I said, is called human-centered achievement, and it's 7 elements.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the first of which is mindset. And
Yes.
it is very important that if you're going to control your health, particularly with diabetes, you need to adopt the proper mindset. And the first thing that I came across is that you will never hear me use the phrase, I am diabetic.
Uh-huh.
That is a misnomer. You would not say, I am cancerous or I am multiple sclerotic. Diabetes is not who we are, it's something that we have. So you
Yes.
need to adopt that mindset that, I have diabetes. I'm not diabetic. It's not
Uh-huh.
who I am. And when you make that switch, the other thing that you have to be aware of with mindset is that diabetes is controllable. Yes, there can be devastating effects if you don't control it,
Yes.
but it is 100% controllable.
Yes, absolutely. And this is a great point you made. A lot of times, people, when they have their conversations with us or with others, they are saying, I'm addict, I am diabetic, I am, you know, and emphasize the parts that really not describing the human. It's behavior or habit or something that should not be the definition of a human. You're right. This is great. And I personally believe, and I spoke with way too many of healthcare professionals and people who successfully um, keeping their health in a good shape. Uh, they all are saying that this all starts with your mindset. What you will decide about yourself, what you recognize in yourself, that helps you to be the person you would like to be, not the somebody with some challenges, right?
Exactly. You know, there has been evidence that your body responds to what you are thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact of the matter is, this is actually one of the principles we use in our system. It's a fact of neurology. Your
Mm-hmm.
brain cannot tell the difference between a thought and what it is perceiving. Whether you see something, hear something, or think something, as far as your brain is concerned, all it is an electrical impulse. There's
Yes.
no difference between what you're seeing and what you're thinking. So if you're thinking, well, I'm diabetic and this is all I am, your body is going to respond to that as though it were true.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have to be careful about how you envision yourself. You need to visualize yourself as a healthy human being. And diabetes is just part of who you are, it's not the totality.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you see, this is back to you when you were talking about it. I started thinking about my husband. I don't know if I told you in the past that I lost my husband due to complications from diabetes. And he had this, what you're talking about. He did not want to be called diabetic, but unfortunately he did not change. I mean, his mindset was in the right place, but his actions were not, because even though he was working mentally that I am not that person,
Yeah.
you still need to make some changes in your lifestyle. You still need to
Yes,
make some changes in what you are doing. That's the part that was not exactly very well under control, let's put it this way.
Yeah, mindset is just the first step. It's not the
Yes.
end all and be all. You
Yes.
have, once you've got that mindset, you have to take action. And
Mm-hmm.
I've taken, basically, I separate things into four different categories of treatment that I am using. And the
Mm-hmm.
first is medication. I
Mm-hmm.
am on a medication. When I was first diagnosed, my numbers were actually very high. It was
Mm-hmm.
considered severe. So I was on two medications. I've
Mm-hmm.
since been able to drop one of them because of the rest of the treatment I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would never say that medication is bad. It's not. But I worked in the pharmaceutical industry for a long time. No healthcare system, whether it's medication, diet, exercise, is simple. It is
Mm-hmm.
it is very complex, and most people want to make this as simple as possible. And the fact of the matter is, to be effective, you have to embrace the complexity. So,
Yes.
not every medication is for every patient. That's why there's so many of them, because we all have individual body chemistries and medications react differently. It's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing with diet, which is another one of the sections. In fact, the four sections that I use are medication, diet, exercise, and meditation. Those four
Yes.
things combined have been what has allowed me to get my diabetes under control. But you have to figure out, there are certain things you have to do and certain things that will work for some people but not others. And the basic problem when you're diagnosed with diabetes is that people are trying to simplify it too much. And in fact, I was just listening to someone who markets himself as a diabetes coach,
Mm-hmm.
and he gave what I consider some of the worst advice I've ever heard,
What is it?
because he was trying to simplify the idea of your diet. And what he advised people to do was, when you go to the supermarket, just shop around the edges of the supermarket.
Okay.
Don't
I've heard
don't
that.
go in don't go into the centers of the market. Now, I've
Mm-hmm.
heard this advice before, and the core of the advice is they're trying to get you to avoid processed foods.
Yes.
The problem with this advice, though, is if you look at the layout of most supermarkets, okay, what's in the center that you're missing, that as someone with diabetes you should be having? Olive oil, cinnamon, almonds. These are all foods. In fact, most
Ye-
spices. These are
Yes.
things that are necessary for your health, that if you avoid that center of the market, you're not going to get. Whole grains, whole grain rice, whole grain breads, things like that. Now, take a look. They're telling you shop at the edge. Now, they want you to be shopping for the fresh meat and the fresh produce. But
Yes.
if you listen to what they're saying and you just shop at the edges, what's at the edge of the supermarket? Ice cream, frozen waffles, it's, things that you shouldn't be having. So they're trying to oversimplify this, and you can't do it. You have to embrace the complexity.
Yes. Well, yes. Well, I can say that I can look at it a little bit differently. The items that you mentioned that are on the aisles, they are long lasting. I mean, you're buying a bottle of olive oil or avocado oil, you don't use it in a week, right? It takes
Right.
time. You buy some, well, I may use the bag of nuts in 1 week. I can do it even faster. But point being that majority of those foods that we have to replenish more often, they are on a perimeter. And yes, you need to close your eyes and pass by those sweetened yogurts and the ice cream section all this. But the fresh meat, fresh veggies, fresh fruits. What is there also?
Yes,
Uh,
that's all important, but it's
eggs.
also not the end all and be all. Like
Yes,
you just mentioned yogurt. Now you're referring to frozen yogurts and sweetened yogurts, but my breakfast most days includes a cup of Greek yogurt
mine too.
that is sugar free,
Yes.
no artificial sweeteners, no fat.
Oh, I do the whole fat. I do the whole thing.
Oh, see, the one I have is fat. It's fat free because Greek yogurt by itself is very thick, so you don't
Yes,
need the additional fat. But I add cinnamon to it because cinnamon is very good for modifying your blood sugar.
yes.
And that and a hard boiled egg is usually my breakfast.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes, yes. I when I said avoid the yogurts, I said sweetened yogurt
Yes.
because you see they say they market fat free, but they load it with the sugar and stuff. So
Yep.
the whole milk or maybe fat free, depending on your taste, because I know people for who the whole milk is too rich, and I understand we all have our different
Yeah.
tastes and preferences, but the idea is to have it with no extra sweeteners added, right?
Right.
You want some extra sweeteners, add some blueberries to it. That would be your extra sweetener there,
I
right?
I do that on a regular basis because blueberries are also fantastic, not
Yeah,
just for managing diabetes, but managing your heart health. And
absolutely.
as
Yeah,
most people know, once you're diagnosed with diabetes, you do have to pay very close attention to your heart because we are more susceptible to heart disease because we have diabetes.
absolutely. Yes, the when I was getting my certification in nutrition for diabetes, it was diabetes and cardiovascular disease. They combine together and discussed as one whole because they're very often affecting each other. Well, Eric, we I was planning on talking about self-care. Let's talk a little bit about self-care. Right now, you mentioned those two very important uh, things that first of all we have to have our mind um settled to recognize the challenge, to separate yourself from this challenge and manage it, right?
Yes.
Um, we do need to, and there are several ways to work with that through the diet, through the physical activities, through the mind work.
Mhm.
Um, when you are talking about it, why say mind work is that important? Why stress is that important when we are talking about, like for you personally, and your work is showing that too, right? Then when
Yes.
the stress is under control, a lot of things could be done in business and in health, right?
Yes. Stress is damaging. Now, stress exists for a reason. As human beings, we developed stress as the what's called the fight or flight reflex.
Mm-hmm,
And that
mm-hmm.
came about when we were literally living in caves and there were wild animals that were going to kill us and we had to react quickly. 99% of us
Yes,
never get into those life and death situations anymore, but the
thanks
instinct is
God.
still there. So it reacts to, you're getting stressed out about diabetes, you're getting stressed out about your work, you're getting stressed out about a fight you had with somebody. And what happens on a biological level is the stress triggers your hormones, and you don't want that. That's great in an emergency,
Uh-huh.
but over time, it's damaging.
Mm-hmm.
The human body has an amazing ability to heal itself, but it has to be in a very specific state in order to do that.
Uh-huh.
Now, if you happen to be one of these people that is lucky enough to get amazing night's sleep every night, that is when your body is healing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get great sleep, congratulations, you're halfway there just from doing that. Because
Yes.
one of the things in your body that heals is melatonin.
Mm-hmm.
But the melatonin has to be generated within your body at specific EEG frequencies. They're
Mm-hmm.
generally called delta waves, or what the EEG registers when you fall asleep. We actually want to get our mind into delta, or even better, theta, which is how it's measured by an EEG.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you meditate on a regular basis, you can achieve delta, you can achieve theta even without going to sleep. But it takes a lot of practice, and it is difficult. It takes a long time to get there. There is what I call a shortcut,
Mm-hmm.
and these are called binaural beats.
Yes, I love them.
Now, what binaural beats are tones that are played at specific frequencies. Now, you have to listen to them using headphones.
Yes.
They do not work if you just listen through a
Yes.
speaker. The reason for this is because they're playing two different frequencies in each ear.
Mm-hmm.
The brain works on sympathetic vibrations. So you've probably felt that when you're listening to your favorite music. You feel a certain way and you feel an energy coming from
Okay.
you. That is your brain reacting to the music.
Uh-huh.
Now, to get your brain reacting that way so that it achieves delta or theta is problematic, because the sound that would get your brain there is inaudible by the human ear.
Uh-huh.
The frequency is, I believe, too low. I can't remember if it's too high or too low. I think it's too low. So we can't hear it. So our brain doesn't react sympathetically to it. What binaural beats do is it plays two separate frequencies, one in each ear. So now these numbers are not the correct numbers, but I'm using them as an example. If you need to get your brain to activate at, say, 4 hertz, well, we can't hear 4 hertz, so there's no way to get it, sympathetically. What
Yes.
binaural beats do is they play 100 hertz in one ear, which we can
Uh-huh.
hear, and
Yes.
104 hertz in the other ear. So
Okay.
the difference is the 4 hertz,
Cool.
and
Uh-huh.
that's what your brain reacts to.
Oh.
So that helps you get to that point where your brain is in the position to generate those healing hormones within your body, and it releases healing chemicals within your body.
Wow. I do use those binaural bits. When I need to take power nap,
Yep.
10-15 minutes, this is all I need, and I'm up and ready to run again. And I do use the earplugs in both ears, and I follow the directions, and it really, really works. But thank you for explaining it, because I just took it for granted. Like, here it is, it's available, it works for me, I'll use it. But I didn't know the
But yeah, this
how
is
it
how it
works.
works, and they are really amazing depending on the frequency. And actually, while you can purchase CDs and recordings of these beats, you can go to YouTube.
That's
There
where I
are
get.
thousands
Yes.
of videos available, and there are different types. So there are general ones that promote healing. There are general ones that activate your pineal gland,
Mm-hmm.
and get you into theta. But there are also very specific ones for headache relief, for
Yes.
muscle relief. I have had terrible headaches where I have put in the headphones, I have played the binaural beats, and within a few minutes, the headache is gone.
I didn't run across this one, but I do use the YouTube, and this is where I get my. I found a specific channel that has multiple links of those sessions, so I could pick depending on my time and level how tired I am, and it's definitely helps me. I don't necessarily fall asleep. I'm sort
Right.
of present, but I'm very, very well rested after the session is over.
The one drawback you have to be careful of when you're using these on YouTube is that the quality of the recording can be affected by your bandwidth, by the way the video was uploaded. So not all of the videos
Mhm.
work the same. There's different qualities, and you may have to try several of them
Yeah,
before you find one that's going to work for you.
exactly. This is what I did. I went through several of them and I found that works for me, but I decided that this is enough. I will not investigate further. This is good. Plus, it has very good reviews over there,
Yes.
so it's another sign. Eric, I am so happy that you came over to be on this podcast. I had a great time learning and conversing with you. And unfortunately, we are at the end of our time that we have for the podcast. So I wanted to ask you this. I'm suspecting there will be more people like myself who will maybe get uh, interested to know you better, to learn more about your work. What would be the best way to find you on the internet?
The best way would be to go to modernobserver.com. That is the website for my coaching business. And you can find articles on how a lot of this stuff works. You can find my contact information there, and you can actually schedule an introductory Zoom call with me right from the website.
Perfect, perfect. So, modernobserver.com. The,
Correct.
is it correct? Modernobserver.com, and it's right now on the screen. If anybody watches the replay, you could stop it here and write it down for yourself and get in touch. This may be something that will help you to finally get your uh, diagnosis under control. Everything works.
Yes, it does. And
All
thank you
right.
so much for having me.
Yes, absolutely. So, Eric, just stay here for a second. I am going to just quick announcement about the activities that we have in our Facebook group, and then we'll come to say final goodbyes for till the next week. All right. So, I wanted to remind everyone who is listening, watching our podcast that on Mondays. In our group, we have Motivational Mondays, and Monica Henderson she has actually the show, and show is pretty long, so get prepared, either watch the pieces of it or the entire thing. It's Motivational Mondays, where she interviews people and talks about the ways how you can motivate yourself and stay through the week and stay on a task. On Tuesdays, we have our Telenurse Tuesday, where our registered nurses are coming to Facebook group, and they look through the bunch of your questions and answer them. That is helping you to interpret your treatment plan, to answer some questions that you cannot get or couldn't get or forgot to ask at the doctor when you visit the doctor's office. So look at our featured posts every time, every week on Tuesday. We have this post in the group. On Wednesdays, not every Wednesday, but every other Wednesday, we have our support group meetings. This is where group members, admins, some healthcare professionals are coming together and discuss the different challenges again that you might have with your diagnosis. It's very nice when you have this dietitian, for example, sitting with you in the group and able to answer your questions right away and maybe explain you what it meant, what doctor said. And of course, on No, not this one. On Thursdays, we have this podcast, Diabetically Speaking with SmartMove360. We go live at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And I am inviting guests to speak with us about different aspects of life with diabetes, how to manage it, how to put it at bay, how to control it, how to live happy and healthy while being diagnosed with this health challenge. On Fridays we have our own Trevor Brown. He comes every Friday at 9 a.m. And talks with us about different uh, ways how we could move our bodies to help ourselves to stay toned, tuned, and healthy and active, modifying different levels. It's really a good idea to go through those activities and try it on. They are also featured in our Facebook group, so you could go and scroll through the featured posts and find them there. On Saturday, last Saturday of this month, we are right now in August, we will have our Diabetic Healthcare Expo. A lot of experts that were participating in my podcast, a lot of experts that I met along the way, they are coming together to have this Diabetes 101 crash course. And we are talking again about lifestyle, about health, self-care, about stress management, how to find help, where to find help. This is all very important information live, and you have chance again to ask those questions. All these events, all these activities are possible because of the help of these groups: Mink Life Motivation, On Balance Entertainment, Life-Based Solutions, and Empower People That Care. These are our companies, groups that are volunteering to help us to be connected, to be helpful, and to be here for you. With that, we are at the end of our show. Thank you, Eric, again. I apologize for this brief fluke that I had in the beginning, losing the connection, but we are back. We managed to stay through the entire show. I thank you, Eric, for being patient. I thank you, everyone who were patient to wait for me to come back. And that's all I have to say today.
It was great being here. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you. Talk to you next week. Where is my video? It's right here.